Good day everyone. So we will discuss partnership formation. So what is partnership? Partnership is a contract or agreement whereby two or more persons bind themselves to contribute money, property, or industry into a common fund. With the intention of the dividing profits among themselves, two or more persons may also form a partnership for the exercise of a professions. By the contract of the partnership, two or more person bind themselves. So dito natin makikita yung minimum requirement kung gaano kadami o ilang yung pwedeng magtayo ng partnership, no. At sabi lang sa civil code, walang limit kung ilan man yung nasa partnership. Ang sinabi lang is yung minimum na requirement, which is dalawa. Hindi natin masasabi na kapag 30 or 40 na ba kayo is mag-create na or magko-convert na kayo into a corporations. Hindi. Kasi ang sabi lang sa civil code, walang maximum partner in a partnership. Now let's proceed sa characteristic of a partnership. First is mutual contribution. Mutual contribution to contribute money, property, and industry. Mutual contribution, so merong mutual understanding, no, na kung ano yung i-contribute mo. Hindi pwedeng like tatlo kayo sa partnership and dalawang lang yung mag-contribute, no, and yung isa yung is hindi. So hindi pwede yun. Dapat lahat is kailangan mag-contribute. Kung pera man yan or property or industry. Second one is division of profit and losses. So in reality, no, palaging hindi naman talaga profit no. And syempre magkakaroon din naman ng losses din. Sa division of profit and losses, hindi porke sinabing, for example, dalawa kayo, so divide by 2 ba yun? Tatlo kayo, divide by 3 ba yun? Hatiin ba yun? Equally? Hindi. Nakadepende yon sa pinag-usapan nyo. Next is limited life. Dito naman kapag sinabing limited life, mabilis lang siya ma-dissolve, mabilis lang siya mawala yung kang partnership, no, o may hangganan o katapusan. Sabi kasi sa limited life, kapag ang partner is nag-withdraw sa partnership, madi-dissolve na. Kapag namatay naman yung partner, madi-dissolve na, no, or kapag naman may incapacitated na partner, madi-dissolve na, or may insolvency na partner, madi-dissolve na, or may napag-usapan kayo na may ipapasok na new partners is madi-dissolve na yung original partners nyo, then gagawa kayo ng panibagong partnership na kasali naman or i-honor nyo naman yung new partner, no. Then next is mutual agency. Mutual agency, no, kung ano man yung ginawa or aksyon ng isa sa mga partner is ay hindi yung ginawa nila or action nila. And hindi na mahalaga kung alam nila ito or hindi. Parang nagkakaroon ng bypass. Kung magka-problema man yung gumawa ng aksyon sa isa sa mga partner, is damay-damay na rin talaga. Then next is unlimited liability. Sa unlimited liability, yung mga personal assets ng mga partners or yung individual personal assets nila na hindi namang kasama sa partnership is pwede itong magamit kung sakaling yung asset ng partnership ay hindi sakto or hindi sapat para mabayaran yung utang ng partnership. Next is income taxes. Siyempre, wala namang nakakawala sa tax, no? Ang partnership is liable siya for 20 or 25% income tax. Kasi ang partnership ay treated as a corporation in the National Internal Revenue Code or Tax Code, no? Siyempre, yung general professional partnership is exempt from income tax. Next is co-ownership of contributed property. So co-ownership, no, kung anong kinontribute mo sa partnership or kung anong kinontribute ng iba pang partner is parehas lang sa inyo yun.
Good day everyone, I'm Eliza Nicole Castillo and I will be presenting the advantage and disadvantages of partnership. So the first advantage of partnership is that it's easy to create since it comes about a simple agreement between two or more individuals. But it's easy to create, but since it lacks stability as it can easily be also dissolved. So, bakit nga ba siya mabilis ma-dissolve? So, that's what we're gonna tackle in the next slides. So, second advantage of partnership is that creators find unlimited liability appealing. So, kumbaga, sa mata ng creditors, it's um, takaw tingin, like that. So, the disadvantage naman is partners share both joint and individual responsibilities for each other's action. Okay, so next advantage of partnership is that partnering with individuals who bring diverse skills and expertise not only offers moral support but also fosters creative brainstorming. So, uh, syempre, there are many partners in a partnership. So, maraming ideas na pumapasok sa partnership na on how to make the sales na pataasin, kung anong idea ang pwedeng ibigay ng other partners, kung ano yung pwedeng gawin sa partnership na para mas gumanda pa siya. Then, disadvantage naman ng partnership is that the partner's liability reaches the personal assets of the partners. And we're gonna go deep down that certain disadvantages later on. So, next is setting it up costs less than forming a corporation. So, we all know naman na kung gaano kagastos and kahirap mag-form ng corporation. So, next disadvantage of partnership is that shared decision making can result in disagreements that may lead to dissolution. Parang if i-compare natin siya, para lang din siyang sa mga typical groups na sa school, if may group projects na syempre hindi naman iisa yung decision natin about a certain thing. So, pwedeng magtalo and can conclude sa dissolution. So, next is multiple owners can enhance fundraising capabilities as they can collectively contribute more funds and the borrowing capacity may also increase. So, in here naman, since syempre, marami tayong partners, so maraming funds na papasok sa partnership natin and yung borrowing capacity natin is mag increase since pwedeng meron tayong partners na dati nang naglo-loan and it will increase the borrowing capacity of the partnership. So next disadvantage naman is decisions require consultation and negotiation with partners. So unilateral decisions are not permitted. Just like sa other slides na sinabi ko, is shared decision making can result in disagreements that may lead to dissolution. So next is the kinds of partnership. So first is we have the as to extent of its subject matter. So meron tayong dalawa dito which is the universal partnership and the particular partnership. So in universal partnership, meron tayong universal partnership of all present property or the common property. So we also have the universal partnership of all profits or the usufruct. So to make it more simple, sa universal partnership of all present property, halimbawa si partner A meron siyang land na binili um, before the partnership. So magiging common property ito ng partnership. So while in universal partnership of all profits naman is ang kukunin lang ng partnership sa property ni partner is the profits or what we call the use of usufruct. So to make it more visible, uh, sa example is si partner A, meron siyang uh, property which is apartment. So, sa apartment na to, yung rent income na should be pumapasok sa kanya is mapupunta sa partnership. But, the land and the apartment itself ay sa kanya pa rin. Hindi siya magiging common property ng partnership unlike the universal partnership of all present property. So, particular partnership is almost the same sa universal partnership of all profits or the usufruct. So next is as to liability of the partners. So we have also two, which is the general partnership and the limited partnership. So in general partnership, this is structure comprises general partners. So each personally liable for partnership debt at to extent of their individual assets. So sa limited partnership naman, it involves one or more general partners and one or more limited partners with the latter not personally liable for partnership obligations. But in order to create a limited partnership, kailangan mayroon silang one general partner because as I have stated, sa general partnership kasi, um, personally liable sila sa pwedeng maging debts ng partnership na aabot to the point na magagalaw yung personal assets nila just to pay that debt. So unlike sa limited partnership, hindi sila personally liable sa partnership obligation. That's why they need to have a at least one general partner to create the limited partnership. So next is as to duration. So we have also two, the partnership at will and the partnership with a fixed term. So from the word itself, sa partnership at will, it's an open-ended partnership without specified term, not formed for a specific purpose, and can be terminated at any time through mutual agreement among the partners. So it can be a disadvantage or disadvantages. It can be advantage or disadvantages sa partners kasi nga isa sa disadvantage kanina is madali siyang ah, madali siyang buuin at madali din siyang ma-dissolve. So, parang sa isa rin sa disadvantage na meron lang silang konting disagreement, pwede na agad silang ma-dissolve. Unlike sa partnership with fixed term, it is a partnership with a predetermined or agreed upon duration or one established for a specific venture. So, example, sa fixed term, meron silang 3 to 5 years and hindi sila um, basta-basta pwedeng mag-dissolve anytime kahit sabihin na it's mutual among the partners, no. Kasi kumbaga parang meron silang contract na sinign na kailangan yung partnership 3 years, 5 years, etc. So next is as to legality naman of existence. So we also have two, the de jure partnership and the de facto partnership. So sa de jure, it is a partnership that meets all the legal prerequisites for its formation. So next is the de facto partnership. So it is a partnership that has not fulfilled all the necessary legal requirements for its formation. But wait, sa de facto kaya, does it mean na hindi na pwedeng magpatuloy ang partnership nila kasi nga not fulfilled yung requirements nila eh. And ito na papasok itong legal requirements. So first, ano nga ba ang legal requirements ng isang partnership? So first is the contract must appear in public instrument and it must be recorded or registered with SEC or the Securities and Exchange Commission. So eto na yung sa de facto, if hindi na ba sila mavo-void na ba sila or would they still be a valid partnership? So, non-compliance with the mentioned requirements doesn't prevent partnership formation, according to Article 1768. Despite not meeting these conditions, the partnership is valid and holds legal status. So, registration is essential for obtaining a business license, ensuring transparency and tax obligation for larger partnership. So, however, failure to meet certain requirements can void the partnership contract, especially concerning contributed immovable property. So, pag may immovable property, yun na, doon na siya mavo-void. So, that's according to Article 1773. So next is representation of others. So ordinary or real partnership, one who exists among partners and is recognized by third parties. So we also have the ostensible partnership or partnership by estoppel. So it is not genuinely a partnership but is treated as such for those who through their actions or admission cannot deny its existence. So according to Article 1825. Next is as to publicity. So from the word itself, secret and open partnership. So sa secret partnership, partnership where certain individuals are not publicly disclosed as partners by any member of the firm. But that doesn't mean na hindi sila active sa firm ha. They are still active but hindi lang nila dinidisclose yung hindi lang nila dinidisclose na they are a partner of this certain partnership. So sa open partnership, from the word itself, it's a partnership whose presence is publicly acknowledged by the members of the firm. So next is as to purpose. So we also have the commercial or trading partnership or professional or non-trading partnership. So first, sa commercial or trading partnership, it is established for conducting business transactions like commercial is like na mga nagpaparent ng store, yung sa mga stall, gano'n, or pwedeng mga nagba-buy and sell, gano'n. While sa professional or non-trading naman, it is created for the practice of a profession such as a general professional partnership. Professional or trading partnership, ito naman yung mga parang accountants, engineers, architecture na wala silang binibentang product. Walang kinakandak na business transaction, pero ang parang pinaka-purpose ng firm nila is to practice of their profession. So, that's all the kinds of partnership and the advantage and disadvantages of partnership. And again, I'm Eliza Nicole Castillo and thank you for listening.
Good day everyone, I'm Cherilyn Edica and I will be reporting partnership formation, the adjustments. So, in partnership formation, adjustments are necessary to ensure that the partners' capital accounts accurately reflect their contributions, ownership interests, and any special terms agreed upon in the partnership agreement. These adjustments help maintain fairness, transparency, and adherence to the terms outlined by the partners. So, when partners come together to build a business, ito yung like nag-start kayo ng team where everyone brings something unique to the table. To keep things fair and clear, adjustments in partnership formation are like the rule book, ensuring that everyone's contributions and promises are accurately noted. So, these reports break down these adjustments in simple terms. So, number 1, the initial investments adjustment. So, initial investment adjustments, partners often contribute assets or cash to initiate the partnership. Adjustments are made to account for these initial contributions accurately. So, imagine you're starting a lemonade stand with friends. So, each friend puts in some money or brings lemons and cups. To make sure everyone gets credit for what they brought, adjustments are made. So, if si Alex, meron siyang 20,000 or 2,000. 20,000. So, meron siyang 2,000 and si Taylor, meron siyang dala na lemon na nag-worth ng 1,000 pesos. So, adjustments ensure that yung piggy bank ni Alex, meron siyang makikita doon na 2,000. Well, si Taylor naman, meron siyang makikita doon na 1,000. So, 'di ba? Example, si Alex, meron siyang 2,000 in cash na kinontribute doon sa partnership nila. Yung initial investment adjustment dito, ini-ensure na yung capital account ni Alex nagre-reflect doon na 2,000 yung contribution niya. Number 2, unequal contributions adjustments. So partners may agree on unequal ownership, shares based on their contribution or other factors. Adjustments are made to align capital accounts with the agreed upon ownership percentages. So, for example, pizza party naman where friends decide to pay based on how much pizza they eat. So, partners might say, I'll put in more money because I want a bigger slice of the business pizza. So, adjustments are made so that each partner slices matches their agreed upon share. So, for example, si Morgan nag-contribute siya ng 15,000 na cash. 15,000 na cash. Tapos si Casey naman nag-contribute siya ng 5,000 na cash. So, unequal yung contribution nila. So, yung itong unequal contribution adjustment na ito, ina-ensure na yung ownership shares ay nagmamatch dun sa contributions nila. Like, si Morgan, di ba, 15,000 yung kinontribute niya, si Casey, 5,000. Si Morgan, meron siyang 75%. Well, si Casey naman, meron siyang 25%. So, next is the interest on capital adjustment. So, interest on capital adjustment, partners might agree that one or more partners are entitled to receive interest on their capital balance. Adjustments are made to reflect the accrued interest. So, ito naman, it's like, nag-lend ka ng money sa kaibigan mo. So, it's like lending a friend money and them saying, sinasabi nila, thanks, I'll pay you a little extra for being awesome. So, in partnerships, if partners agree that one deserves a bonus for letting the partnership use their money, adjustments are made. It's like adding a thank you bonus to their contribution. So, for example, si Jordan, nag-agree siya to let the partnership use 100,000 of their money and is entitled to 5% interest. So, interest on capital adjustment ensures their capital account reflects an additional 5,000 sa interest. So, ayun. So, next is the liability assumption adjustment. So, if a partner assumes responsibility for specific partnership debts or liabilities, adjustments are made to reflect this in their capital account. So, picture a group deciding who covers the bill after a fun outing. So, in partnerships, if a partner says, I'll take care of this debt, so adjustments are made to show that in their piggy bank. So, it's like making sure everyone knows who's picking up the tab for certain parts of the business party. So, for example, si Chris, nag-take responsibility siya sa 50,000 debt. So, liability assumption adjustment doon, ina-ensure na yung capital account ni Chris, nagre-reflect doon yung decrease ng 50,000 to cover the assumed debt. So, picture a group deciding who covers the bill after a fun outing. So, in partnerships, if a partner says, I'll take care of this debt, so adjustments are made to show this in their piggy bank. It's like making sure everyone knows who's picking up the tab for certain parts of the business party. So, for example, si Chris, nag-take responsibility siya sa 50,000 na debt. So, yung liability assumption adjustment doon, ina-ensure na yung capital account ni Chris, nagre-reflect doon yung decrease niya na 50,000 to cover the assumed debt. So, ayun. So, adjustments in partnership formation act like the scorekeeper in a game. So, this makes sure that everyone plays by the rules and gets their fair share of the business adventure. So, whether it's initial investments, unequal contributions, interest bonuses, or taking on debts, these adjustments ensure that the partnership dance stays in harmony. So,
Valuation of partners' contribution. Okay, ito yung mga pwede i-contribute ng mga partners. Okay, ang unang-una na dyan ay ang cash at its face value. And ang pangalawa ay yung mga non-cash in order of priority. So, kailangan agreed value ang ibigay na non-cash asset. And pangalawa ay pwede rin yung fair market value nila. And yung pangatlo is yung appraised value. Then yung pang-apat, yung carrying or yung book value ng non-cash asset. Okay. So, pangatlo, na pwede lang i-contribute ay yung liabilities. So, it should be fair value, pero kung ang problem ay silent, we will consider it as fair value. So, ang pang-apat natin ay inventory. So, inventory should be lower of cost and net realizable value or yung tinatawag nating LCNRV. Kailangan i-note natin na ang assessed value is ignored for tax purposes. Okay? So, annotated means mortgage. So, pag sinabi natin annotated or may makita kayong annotated sa isang problem, meaning po nun ay mortgage. Mortgage na dapat i-assume ng partnership. Okay? Ang next nating tatalakayin is contributed capital formula. Okay, so ito makikita natin kung paano computein ang contributed capital ng partners. Okay? Agreed, fair, appraised, or book value less liability assumed by the partnership equals to contributed capital. Dito natin malalaman kung ano ba ang meron. Kung ito ba ay bonus method, withdrawal of investment or impairment of asset, additional investment or revaluation. Okay. So, sa bonus method, kailangan ang total contributed capital ng partnership ay dapat equal dun sa total agreed capital. Then kapag merong impairment of asset, ang total contributed capital ay greater than total agreed capital ng bawat partners. Then kapag ay revaluation, kung mayroong mga revaluation, dapat ang total contributed capital ay less than total agreed capital ng partners. So ito yung mga gagawin natin kapag mayroong new sets of books is opened and books of sole proprietor are retained. So dun sa new sets of book is opened, ang una natin gagawin is adjust the books of the sole proprietor at its agreed or current fair values. So, yun ang gagawin natin una. Then, pangalawa, close the books of the sole proprietor. Then, ang third one ay record the investments of the partners. Then, last one is consolidate the investments. So, doon naman sa books of sole proprietor are retained, ang una natin gagawin is adjust the books of the sole proprietor at its agreed or current fair values. Then, pangalawa is record the investment of other partners. Then, last is consolidate the investments.
Before we proceed to the discussion, what is asset, liabilities, and equity first? So assets are the things that the business owns. Liabilities are the things that the business owes to the third parties, and equity are the capital that the owners puts into the business. Okay, now, what is this accounting equation for? What's the use Yeah, what's the use of this equation? The accounting equation, the assets is equal to liability plus equity. So this equation is crucial in partnership formation for a concise understanding of financial health. It ensures the clarity by balancing what the partnership owns with how it's financed. This balance guides decisions, promotes accountability among partners, facilitates accurate reporting, and, of course, builds confidence with external parties, contributing to effective financial management in the partnership. This equation also served as the foundation of double entry bookkeeping and financial accounting. So the equation, it states that a company's total asset must be equal to the sum of its liabilities and equity. So it reflects the basic accounting principle that every financial transaction has dual effect, affecting both sides of the equation to maintain the balance. Yeah, it always balances. So now what we see here is the balance sheet of the partnership formation of Amna and Eman. This balance sheet provides a snapshot of a company's financial position at a specific point in time. So let's break down the balance sheet based on the given information. So the given assets here are 80,000 cash, 100,000 account receivable, the inventory is 25,000, equipment is 35,000, and the machinery is 30,000. If we add all of the given assets here, we will get to the total amount of 270,000. Yeah, the total assets is 270,000. Now, let's see if the sum, let's check if the sum of the liabilities and equity will be equal to the total assets. Okay, let's see. The given liabilities here are, okay, the accounts payable 27,000, rent outstanding is 5,000 plus bank loan 20,000 and 18,000 notes payable, and then the mortgage loan amounting to 15,000. If we add all of that, we will get the total amount of 85,000 pesos. Then now, the capital of Amna, which is 110,000 plus the 75,000 capital of Eman is equal to 185,000 pesos. So 185 total of equity plus the total amount of liabilities, which is 85,000 pesos. So we will get the total balance of 270,000 if we combine the equity and the liability, and it is equal to the total assets. Alright. So, okay. How about we create another scenario? For example, the account receivable here suddenly increased by 10%. It means that they are expecting, Amna and Eman are expecting more payments from its customers in the future. So, let's analyze how this will change, or how this change will impact the balance sheet of Amna and Eman. What will probably can happen because of the sudden increase in accounts receivable. So, a change is going to happen because of the change in the accounts receivable, a change is going to happen to at the other side to make everything balance again. So, to be exact, because of the receivable of the increase in receivable, the owner's equity of both Amna and Eman capital will increase too proportionally. So in that case, it will surely make things even or balance again. Yeah.
Okay, so moving on sa computation. So here I provided a single problem lang, isa lang. Pero sa problem na to marami tayong gagawin, no? Mag-adjusting entries tayo, journal entry, magko-closing entries din tayo. And we will also solve the problem dun sa partnership formation. And also ano din tayo magre-record ng investment sa partnership books. Okay. So let's start. Now, let's read the problem first. Okay, on October 1, 2021, Daniel and Catherine decided to pool their assets and form a partnership. They allocate profit and loss ratio of 44 to 56 respectively. So, 44 kay Daniel and 56 kay Catherine. Pero, ito yung P&L nila or yung profit and loss ratio. Iba pa to dun sa capital ratio na tinatawag, ha? Iba yon. Okay, so ito yung balance sheet nilang pareho. So, since ito yung given, so ito na agad yung unadjusted. Okay, no? So, simulan natin sa paggawa ng journal entries. Okay. So, basahin muna natin to. The firm is to take over business assets and assume liabilities and capitals are to be based on net assets after the following adjustment. Okay, so mamaya explain ko sa inyo tong net asset na sinasabi dito, no? Okay. So, letter A. So, hatiin muna natin to. Ito yung magiging journal entry ni Daniel. Ito yung kay Catherine. Okay. So, letter A. Sabi dito, Daniel's inventory amounting to 12,000 is worthless. So, mababawasan yung inventory mo ng 12,000. And take note, pagdating sa pag-journal entry sa partnership, lahat is nire-reflect sa capital. Okay? So, ang magiging debit mo niyan is Daniel capital. Since nabawasan yung asset mo, pag nireflect mo siya sa capital, mababawasan din. Since credit side ang normal balance ng capital kapag tumataas, sa debit naman siya napupunta kapag nababawasan. So, debit ng Daniel capital $12,000 and credit tayo ng inventory. Okay. 12,000 din. Yan, may kasunod pa siya. Sabi dito, while Catherine's agreed value of inventory is increased to 150,000. Magkano ba yung original amount ng inventory ni Catherine? Nakalagay dito. Merchandise inventory ni Catherine is 144,000. And sabi dun sa adjustment, increased to 150,000. Tandaan nyo to, pag sinabing increase to, yung sinabing amount doon, yun yung mismong amount na niya. Pero kapag sinabing increase by, yun yung amount na i-increase ng original amount. Okay? So, balik tayo dito sa adjustment. Sabi dito, 150,000. So, ang difference niyan, kasi increase to, sabi, diba? So, yung 144,000 naging 150. Kung increase by ang nakalagay dyan, dadagdagan mo ng 150 yung 144,000. Pero since increase to 150,000, kunin nyo lang yung difference, no? 150,000 minus 144 is 6,000. So, yun yung i-entryan natin, 6,000. Since tumaas siya, magki-credit tayo ng capital dito. Ang debit mo is inventory. Merchandise inventory. Na 6,000. Tapos, Catherine's capital. Na 6,000. Yan, tumaas siya. Okay, move on tayo sa letter B. Ayan. Sabi dito, uncollectible accounts of 7,200 for Daniel is to be provided. A 5% allowance is to be recognized in the books of Catherine. Okay. So, kay Daniel, ang adjustment is 7,200 na uncollectible accounts. Okay, gawan natin ng entry yun. So, itong uncollectible accounts, less din yan sa capital mo. So, Daniel Capital ang i-debit natin. Na 7,200. Ang credit naman natin is, since uncollectible accounts to, allowance for that pool accounts ang i-credit natin. Pero i-shortcut na lang natin. Allowance for doubtful accounts. Ayan. 7,200. And may kasunod pa dito. A 5% allowance is to be recognized in the books of Catherine. Okay, 5%. Rate lang yung binanggit dito eh. Okay. So, balikan natin to. So, meron dito, may allowance for doubtful accounts si Catherine dito na 6,000. And, let's assume na yung sinabi na 5% is naka-reflect sa accounts receivable. Okay. So, kung ang gagawin natin, yung value ng accounts receivable mo, i-multiply mo sa 5%. Ang lalabas dyan is 9,000. Pero hindi yun yung i-record natin. Kasi may naka-record na ditong 6,000. So, ililess natin yun. Kukunin natin yung difference ng 6,000 tsaka nung 9,000. So, that's 3,000. Yun lang yung i-record natin. So, allowance is to be recognized. So, bawas ulit to sa capital, no? Catherine Capital. Na 3,000. Tapos, allowance for doubtful accounts or ADA. Yan. Okay. So, next is okay na tayo sa B, sa C na. Yan. Accrued rent income of 12,000 on Daniel. And accrued salaries of 9,600 on Catherine should be recognized. Okay. So, itong si ano to, receivable and payable to. So, ito, rent income of 12,000. Magiging receivable ni Daniel yan. So, pag naging receivable yan, asset, tumaas, so tataas capital niya. So, ang magiging credit mo dito, capital niya, since tumaas siya, normal balance ng capital is credit kapag tumataas. So, Daniel Capital na 12,000 and ang i-debit mo is rent. Yan, rent receivable. Receivable na 12,000. Okay, yan kung makikita nyo. Rent receivable and Daniel Capital credit. Then, sabi dito, and accrued salaries of 9,600 on Catherine. Okay. So, salaries payable naman to, no? Ang magiging credit mo dyan is salaries payable. Salaries payable na 9,600. Then, ang i-debit mo is yung capital ni Catherine. Kasi payable niya yan eh. So, bawas. Okay. So, letter D na tayo, no? Sa interest at 16% of notes receivable, date August 17, 2021 should be accrued. So, notes receivable. Dito na natin magagamit yung note dito, no? Na in case wherein days are considered, use 360 days as the basis. Okay. Ibig sabihin na itong note na to, pag nag-compute tayo ng interest, ang gagamitin natin is days, no? Hindi months. Okay. So, based dito sa problem, sa notes receivable siya. So, tignan natin kung sino yung may notes receivable dito sa balance sheet.
So, ang may notes receivable dito is si Catherine. Meron siyang 60,000 amount ng notes receivable. So, ang una natin gagawin, i-multiply natin yung 60,000 dun sa rate na given sa adjustment, which is 16%. Ang lalabas dyan is 9,600. Pero hindi pa yun yung i-record natin, no? Ang i-record natin is kapag nakuha na natin yung days mula August 17 hanggang October 1. October 1 is yung date nung pag-form nilang partnership. So, magbibilang tayo mula August 17 hanggang October 1. So, ilang days yun? From October 17 to August 17 to August 31, that's 14 days, no? Tapos, 30 days naman sa September, so that's 44. Then, add natin yung 1 day sa October. Total of 45. So, 45 days yung interest niya. So, yung 9,600 na 16%, 9,600 na 16% ng 60,000, i-multiply natin sa 45 days, tas i-divide naman natin sa 360 days. Okay, 1,200. So, yun yung gagawan natin ng entry. Ang magiging entry dyan, since sa notes receivable to, is interest receivable debit. So, ito yan. Ayan. Interest receivable debit ka ng 1,200 since receivable mo yan, tataas yung capital mo. So, ang i-credit mo, Catherine capital na 1,200 din. So, move on tayo sa letter E. Sabi dito, the office unused amount to 24,000. Okay, sino ang may office supplies dito? Ang may office supplies is si Daniel lang. So, ang amount ng office supplies niya is 32,400. Okay? And sabi dun sa adjustment is 24,000 na lang. 24,000 na lang yung hindi nagagamit. Ibig sabihin, 32,400 minus 24,000 equals 8,400. Yung 8,400 na yun yung na-expense mo na, nagamit mo na. Okay? So, e-entryan natin yan. So, letter E na tayo. Ayan. Entryan natin. Letter E. Yan. Kung since bumaba siya ng 8,400, ang i-debit natin capital. Yeah. Then capital na 8,400. Okay? Then ang i-credit naman natin is office supplies. Yan. Okay. So, move on na tayo sa next adjustment. So, letter F na. The equipment's agreed value amounted to 60,000. Okay. Sino ang may equipment dito sa problem? Si Daniel pa rin. Siya lang yung may equipment. Ang amount ng equipment niya is 120,000. Pero, merong accumulated depreciation na kasama yung equipment na 54,000. Okay? Then sabi dun sa problem, ang natitirang value na lang ng equipment niya is 60,000. Okay? So, ang una natin gagawin para malaman natin kung magkano ang i-entry natin, yung value ng equipment na 120,000, i-less mo ngayon yung accumulated depreciation niyang naka-record na 54. Ang lalabas dyan is 66,000. Ngayon, i-compare mo yun dun sa adjustment na sabi, 60,000 na lang daw yung natitirang value ng equipment. So 66,000 minus 60,000 is 6,000. So nag-depreciate pa ulit yung equipment niya. Nag-depreciate ulit ng 6,000. So ngayon, since meron naman na siyang account dito for depreciation, i-add mo na lang siya dito, yung 6,000 na yon. So para ma-double check mo, pag in-add mo siya dito, i-minus mo ulit dito sa equipment, magiging 60 na yan. So, tama na siya based dun sa adjustment. So entryhan natin yung 6,000 na yon. Ang magiging debit mo is Daniel Capital pa rin. Na 6,000. Tapos, ang credit mo naman is accumulated depreciation. Ng equipment. Yan. Yan na lang para shortcut. 6,000 din. Okay, move on. Ito na. Letter G. The furniture and fixtures has a fair value of 108,000. Okay, tignan natin kung sino yung may furniture and fixtures dito sa balance sheet, no? Ang meron is si Catherine lang. Yung amount ng furniture and fixtures niya is 144,000. Ayan. And may kasama yon na accumulated depreciation, which is yung 24,000. Okay. So, same method no? Sa ginawa natin sa equipment ni Daniel. So, ang mangyayari dyan, kunin mo ulit yung original value ng furniture and fixtures, i-minus mo ngayon sa accumulated depreciation. 144,000 minus 24,000, that's 120,000. Ngayon, sabi dito sa problem, yung fair value ng furniture and fixtures niya, 108,000 na lang. Ngayon, itignan mo kung magkano yung difference nito sa 120,000 sa naging fair value niya ngayon na 108,000. So that's 12,000 difference, no? Ngayon, yun yung entry natin, yung difference. Ibig sabihin kasi, yung 12,000 na yun, nadagdag yun sa depreciation ng furniture and fixtures mo. Okay. So entryhan natin ngayon yun. So, since na-accumulate depreciation niya, bawas ulit sa asset mo yan, magde-debit ka ng capital, Catherine Capital. Na 12,000. Then, accumulated depreciation ng furniture and fixtures. Okay? 12,000. Okay. Ayan. So, next na tayo. Letter H. So, malapit na natin matapos, no? Letter H na. Sabi dito sa letter H, interest at 20% on notes payable dated on July 1, 2021 should be accrued. Okay. So, yung gagawin na ito, same lang sa ginawa natin sa letter D, no? Dito. Pero ang pinagkaiba lang, ito payable, ito receivable. Okay. So, yung interest rate na 12%, i-multiply natin dun sa original, sa principal amount ng notes payable. So, tignan natin kung sino may notes payable dito. Ang may notes payable is, okay, nausog. So, kay Daniel to. Sorry, kay Daniel to. 60,000 na notes payable kay Daniel. Okay. So, 12% multiply by 60,000. That's 7.2. Pero hindi pa rin yun yung i-record natin, no? Since may nakastate ditong date, July 1. So, bilangin natin ulit. Mula July 1 hanggang October 1. Okay. Mula July 1, that's 30, 31, 30, 31, plus 1. That's 92 days. Okay? So, yung nakuha mong 12% ng 60,000, i-multiply mo ngayon sa 92 days divided by 360 days na basis based dito sa note, no? Ayan. Ang lalabas dyan is 1,840. Okay. Yun yung gagawin natin ng entry. So, since payable to, bawas sa capital mo yan, debit capital tayo. Yan. Na 1,840. Tapos, ang magiging ano natin dito, credit is interest payable. Interest payable. Okay. So, ito na. Last adjustment. Letter I. Sabi dito, Catherine has unrecovered patent amounting to 48,000 and is to invest the additional cash necessary to have a 60% interest in the new firm. Okay. So, dalawa dito yung problem sa letter na to, no? So, may unrecovered patent siya na 48,000 and hinahanap kung magkano yung cash na kailangan niyang i-invest para pagdating ng formation ng partnership, 60% yung kanya. Okay. Pero ang unahin natin dito, ito muna, yung patent. Yan. Yung patent muna. Since hindi pa natin na-adjust yung capital ng dalawang books, hindi pa natin masasagot tong 60% interest in the new firm. So, ito muna, patent. Kay Catherine. So, letter I. Okay. Ang patent assets yan, ha? Okay. So, debit patent na 48,000 and credit tayo ng Daniel Capital. Since nagkaroon ka ng additional asset, additional capital din yan. Okay. So, natapos na natin lahat ng journal, ng adjustments, no? So, mag-proceed na tayo. Okay. No? So, tapos na tayo sa adjusting entries. So, ang next step is gawin nating adjusted yung unadjusted balance sheet nila. So, ang gagawin lang naman dun is lahat ng data na na-collect natin dito sa adjusting entries is i-reflect natin dun sa unadjusted balance sheet. So, simulan natin, no? Okay. So, sa cash, may adjustment ba dyan? Wala naman. So, copy lang natin. 90,000. Kay Catherine, wala ring nangyari sa cash niya. 54,000. Okay. Sa accounts receivable, is same lang din. Pati yung kay Catherine, copy lang natin. 180,000. Okay. So, sa allowance for doubtful accounts, so dito kay Daniel may nangyaring changes, no? Pagdating sa allowance for doubtful accounts, nadagdagan ng 7,200. So, i-add natin yun dito sa 4,800. So, that's 12K. 12,000. Yan, minus. Then, pati yung kay Catherine. From 6,000, naging 9,000 dahil nagdagdag siya ng 3,000 for allowance for doubtful accounts. So, that's 9,000. Okay. Then, next is sa notes receivable. Kay lang natin, wala na adjust dyan. Next is purchase inventory. from 192,000, nabawasan tayo ng 12,000. Yung worthless, di ba, sa letter A. So, i-less natin yun from 192,000 minus 12,000. So, that is 180,000. Inventory ni Catherine, nadagdagan ng 6,000. So, 144,000 plus 6,000 is equals to 150,000. Okay. So, next is office supplies naman, no? So, office supply, yung kay Daniel may adjustment. Nabawasan ng 8,400. Okay, so 32,400 minus 8,400 is 24,000. Okay. Equipment naman. Sa equipment ni Daniel, same amount lang din na 120,000. Then, pero sa accumulated depreciation na equipment niya is nadagdagan ng 6,000. Okay? From 54 naging 60. So, minus. Okay? So, furnitures and fixtures ni Catherine. So, same lang din, 144,000. Okay? Pero pagdating sa accumulated depreciation is nadagdagan siya ng based dito sa ano natin. Okay? Ito, nadagdagan ng 12,000 yung accumulated depreciation ng furnitures and fixtures. Okay, so 12,000. So 24,000 plus 12,000 is 36,000. So minus 36,000. So ito, may additional account tayo, rent receivable. Kasi hindi to nag-exist dun sa unadjusted balance sheet eh. Sa rent receivable, naka-receive siya ng 12,000. No? So, add natin yun. 12,000. Okay. Then, meron pang, kay Catherine naman, nagkaroon siya ng interest receivable. Na, ayan. Yung interest receivable natin na 1,200. Yan. Okay. And yung patent ni Catherine, remember, yung 48,000. Okay. So, total lang natin to, no? So, 90,000 plus 216,000 minus 12,000 plus 180,000 plus 24,000 plus 120,000 minus 60,000 plus 12,000. That's 570,000 ang total assets ni Daniel. Ayan, 570. So dito naman tayo kay Catherine. 54,000 plus 180,000 minus 9,000 plus 60,000 plus 150,000 plus 144,000 minus 36,000 plus 1,200 plus 48,000. That's 592,200 para kay Catherine sa total assets niya. Okay. So let's move on sa liabilities naman nila. Okay. Sa liability, account payable. So may nangyari ba sa accounts payable ni Daniel at ni Catherine? So, wala naman, no? Copy lang natin. 159,600 para kay Daniel and 120,000 para kay Catherine. Okay, sa notes payable naman, 60,000 kay Daniel. So, same lang din, copy. So, tupin natin para hindi na abot. Ayan. 60,000 na notes payable. Then, sa capitals, hindi, meron pa pala interest payable. So, new account to, no? Sa adjusted balance sheet. Ang interest payable is kay kay Daniel. Nagkaroon siya ng interest payable na 1,840. So, 1,840. Then, next naman is salaries payable. New account din to. Pero sa books naman ni Catherine. So, may binayar payable siyang 9,600. Okay. So, lahat ng sa capitals naman, pagdating sa capitals, lahat ng naging adjustment is re-reflect natin sa capital. Okay, simulan natin kay Daniel, no? Ang original capital ni Daniel is 372,000. Ito, 372,000. So, lahat ng adjustment plus and minus natin. So, dito sa letter A, nabawasan capital niya. So, minus ng 12,000. Okay. Then, sa B, nabawasan ulit ng 7,200. So, let's ulit. Then, sa C naman, nagkaroon siya ng receivable. So, nadagdagan yung capital niya. So, plus 12,000 yan. Okay. Then dito sa letter E, nabawasan ulit siya ng 8,400 dahil sa office supplies. So, that's less 8,400. Okay, Daniel to. Daniel capital. Yan. Then sa F naman, nabawasan ulit siya ng 6,000 dahil nadagdagan yung accumulated depreciation ng equipment niya. So, ilas lang natin ulit. 6,000. Ayan. Then, last is yung interest payable niya. So, less ulit yan. 1,840. Ayan. So, i-total natin yan, no? 372 minus 12,000 minus 7,200 plus 12,000 minus 8,400 minus 6,000 minus 1,840. So, ang total is 348,560. Ayan. Yan yung adjusted capital ni Daniel. So, ilagay natin yan dito sa adjusted balance sheet. So, ang capital ni Daniel is 348,560. So, i-total natin yan to. No? Based sa sinusunod nating equation na assets equals liabilities plus equity is dapat itong total na itong liabilities and capital is mag-equal dito sa asset. So, para tingnan natin kung tama tayo. Plus lang natin. Plus 60,000. 1,400. So, nag-equal siya, no? 570 total. tama naman tayo. Okay, move on tayo kay Catherine. Sa liabilities ni Catherine, ay sa capital ni Catherine. Okay. Okay, Catherine. Ang original capital ni Catherine is 432,200. 432,000. Okay. 432,000. Ayan. So, based dito sa adjustment, ang unang adjustment is nadagdagan inventory niya. So, plus 6,000. Then, next is nabawasan ng 3,000. So, minus yan. Then, nabawasan ulit ng 9,600 dahil sa salaries payable. Okay, next is nagkaroon siya ng receivable interest. Yan, na 1,200. So, plus yan. Okay. Next is nadagdagan ng accumulated depreciation na 12,000 yung furniture and fixtures niya. So, less ulit yan. Okay. And lastly is yung patent. Ayan, na 48,000. So, additional yan. Asset. 48,000. So, total lang ulit natin. Plus that is 462,600. So, ilagay natin dito yan sa adjusted. And 62,600. So, total lang natin tong liabilities and capital. Okay. So, 592,200. Okay. So, equal siya sa asset, no? So, tama tayo sa paggawa ng adjusted balance sheet. So, after ng adjusted balance sheet, mag-move on naman tayo sa closing entries. Okay. Okay, so closing entries na, no? Sa closing entries naman, basically, ang ginagawa lang dito, binabaliktad yung normal balances ng bawat accounts, no? Yung liabilities and equity mo napupunta sa debit, and yung asset mo naman is napupunta sa credit side. So, makikita nyo dito. Ayan, ito yung kay Daniel. Yung accounts payable niya, notes payable, interest payable, naka-debit lahat, pati capital. Pero, naiwan dito yung allowance for doubtful accounts and accumulated depreciation. Kasi ito, contra asset tong mga account na to, di ba? So, kaya hindi siya sinasama dito. Dahil hindi siya sinama dito sa credit side kasi yung asset mo nandito sa credit side. So, nandito siya sa debit side. So, andito naman sa credit side yung cash mo, accounts receivable. Yan. And nag-equal pa rin siya. No? Dapat mag-equal pa rin talaga yan. Okay. Ito naman yung kay Catherine. Okay. Same lang din sa allowance for doubtful accounts and accumulated depreciation. And nag-equal rin naman. Okay. So, after ng closing entries, dito na tayo pwede mag-record ng investment for the formation of the partnership, no? Okay. Okay, no? Pagdating sa record regarding ng investment for partnership, dito na papasok yung rule na net asset, yung net ang ilalagay mong value, no, for property, land, and equipment. For example, dito, makikita nyo, ang value ng equipment niya dun sa adjusted balance sheet is 120,000. Pero since nagkaroon ng accumulated depreciation na 60,000, inilagay na natin yung value, yung natirang value ng equipment na 60,000. Okay? So, ganun din sa Ah, ganun din kay Catherine, no? Pagdating sa furnitures and fixtures niya na 108,000 from 144 naging 108 kasi minus na natin yung accumulated depreciation na 36,000. Okay. Okay, no? So, move on na tayo. Isosolve na natin yung problem nung letter I. Kung maalala nyo, ang sabi doon, how much is the cash necessary for Catherine to invest para magkaroon siya ng 60% sa new firm na itatayo nila. So, 60% kay Catherine. So, automatically, yung 40% na tira kay Daniel. So, sa adjusted balance sheet, ang capital nila is kay Daniel is capital. Daniel capital. Ayan. Is 348,560. Okay. Ayan. And kay Catherine naman, Catherine capital is 462,600. Okay. So, para malaman natin kung magkano yung 60% na magiging share ni Catherine para sa bagong business nila is ito, solve natin. Since 60% si Catherine, automatic, itong amount ni yung capital, adjusted capital ni Daniel na 348,560, automatic 40% na to. Okay. Yan, 40% na yan. Ito naman kay Catherine, tignan pa natin. Kasi kung 60% na yan, hindi na niya kailangan mag-invest ng additional cash. Pero kung kulang pa, saka lang siya mag-i-invest. Okay? So, para makuha, para malaman kung may additional investment pa ba o wala na, itong capital ni Daniel is i-divide natin sa 40%. Para makuha natin yung total capital nila, which is yung 100% pag pinagsama yung capital nila. Okay, 348,560 divided by 40% is 871,400. Okay. So, ito yung total capital. Total cap. Ayan. Yan yung total capital nilang dalawa. Para malaman natin kung magkano yung kay Catherine dyan na sinasabing 60%, i-multiply natin ngayon sa 60%. Okay. Ayan. 60% is 522,840. So, itong amount na tong 522,840, ito dapat yung share ni Catherine doon sa ipo-form nilang partnership. So, pag kinompare natin to sa capital niya, kulang. So, kukunin natin yung difference ngayon. I-minus natin yung 522,000 minus 462,600. So, that is i-minus natin 462,600. Ang difference is 60,240. So, ito yung additional cash na kailangang i-invest ni Catherine sa partnership para maabot niya yung 60% interest doon sa new firm na itatayo nila. Okay. So, na-solve na natin lahat, no? Okay. Nakapag-adjusting entries na tayo. Nagawa natin yung adjusted balance sheet. Nakapag-closing entries na tayo. And na-solve na natin yung tinatanong sa problem. Okay. So, ito yung yung parang long version nung pag-solve ng problem. Bale, pinakita ko lang naman sa inyo kung paano mag-journal entries, mag-adjusting, mag-close, yan. Paano gumawa ng ganon. Pero kung sa actual exam na, kung sakaling sasagutin nyo yun, sa actual exam, meron tayong mas mabilis na na way. Since ang tanong lang naman is magkano yung 60% ni Catherine, magkano yung additional investment niya. So, since ganun lang naman, and since may pagdating ng actual exam is may limited time lang tayo para makapagsagot, so, eto. Gawin natin, mabilisan. Okay, para sa mas mabilis na way, since ang tanong lang naman is itong Catherine is to invest additional cash necessary to have a 60% interest in the new firm. No? Yun lang naman ang kailangan. Pwedeng ang gawin natin is yung adjustment i-reflect na agad natin sa umpisa pa lang sa capital, sa original capital nila. Okay, so ito yan, yung ginawa natin kanina, Ayan, original capital plus or minus yung adjustment, then nakuha yung adjusted capital ni Daniel. Same lang din kay Catherine, original capital plus or minus yung adjustments, then nakuha natin yung adjusted capital niya. Okay. So, pagdating dito, pag sinolve natin yung tanong, ito na yan. Okay. Ito na yung nangyari dyan. So, mas mabilis yung way na yun, Okay. So, that's all for this problem, Kahit isang problem lang siya, I think masyado namang siksik sa info. Okay, thank you.